Hola, mis compañeros. Me llamo Jordan, aka AltBlackid, and this is my video about autism, specifically my autism. I wanted to do this video because I felt it was an interesting story, and it would be a weight off my chest. Unlike most people, but the common theme in my life, I stumbled upon this fact by myself by accident. The idea first started out when I was hanging out with my friend, and I was helping her with a project. We were mainly just fooling around. She was researching autism, and I was just reading the description of autism. Then she stopped me in the middle of it and said to me, "Jordan, do you have autism?" And that baffled me. But I shook it off because, well, I am very hard-headed. But the thought stuck in the back of my head like gum covered in Gorilla Glue stuck at the bottom of my shoe. But like any small detail in my life, it turned out it played a bigger part of my story only a few months later. For the sake of time, I recently got kicked out of school, and I couldn't pay out-of-cost payments for private school who wanted to rise up tuition faster than flapjacks on the International Pancake Day in the South. So, my sister was tired of me struggling with life and my habits and living with her. So she and a few other members of my family wanted me to get tested professionally to get a better living source for my special circumstances. Part of me at this point knew they wanted me to get retested for autism and living assistance, but the other part of me did not want to accept this, so I rejected this offer vehemently. After rejecting it a few times, my sister basically insinuated about my earlier diagnosis, but even then I did not want to accept this fact. It was not until much later into the year, after I became financially independent again, that this fact came up again. I was talking to another sister, one that is on my dad's side of the family, and she was talking about my other autistic siblings. She wasn't talking about how she was talking about how they were low functioning and nonverbal, and she told me that I was the only autistic sibling that became independent and actually learned how to talk. Then she continued about how she knew about my autism from the start when she first met me. To give context, my sister, I first met my siblings on my dad's side when I when I was in 10th grade about a few years ago. So it was just really surprising. From that conversation, the realization started to sink in. I had autism. My mom knew about it and told almost all my family about it. The conclusion scared me, yet one detail really bothered me for the most. For most of my childhood, the state of Michigan provided living assistance to help my mom pay for multiple forms of therapy, psychiatry, and materials to help me live. But the details around that situation always bothered me because my mom always insisted for giving more evidence for funding and that this was all for ADHD. But I looked it up, and the only way to get state assistance from any service, from any type of service, was if I had autism. Then in that moment of eureka, everything just in my life made sense. From my speech problems, from my inability to make friends, to make friends with other kids, the therapy, my annoyance with crowds, and so many other things. It just made sense that I struggled with autism. And when the day ended, I basically cried myself to sleep because the years of frustration, misunderstandings, self-hatred, and every negative concept had just became understandable. And from there, I made my Tumblr. I started living a healthier lifestyle, understanding the facts about me now. Currently, I'm happy because I found a loving community of autistic people that is making my life more manageable. I do not force myself to try to be normal anymore, and learning about all my triggers for overload and avoiding them as much as possible. But I still have a long way to go, and if I want to be a healthier adult, I need to learn more about myself. So, personally, this is my story, And if you like hearing stories about my life, about autism, or just anything in general, I hope you subscribe and like to my channel for more interesting things to come.